That's right, we're here with this Atlantis version 2, Aspire Atlantis V2. Holy freight trains, my friend. It will definitely chuck the vapor. Probably the thickest, best clouds I've gotten from any of the Subohm tanks I've tried this far, and I've tried a whole bunch of them. But we're just going to kind of touch briefly on this thing, tell you a little bit about it, maybe hopefully talk you into getting one. Because do I recommend it? We'll start out by saying hell yeah I do. It's a damn good Subohm tank. Of course you can't go wrong but start with an Aspire. Aspire started out this whole Subohm craze, and where every time you blink another one's coming out. But this is it. I've got it sitting on a Sigelei 150 right now. Not too shabby looking tank. Let's go ahead and pull it off here for a little second. Down here on the bottom, you got a very large Cyclops hole on both sides. On the top cap here, you get this thing turned a little bit. It's got 4 holes across the top. And you can turn that and close these off. Me personally, I like them closed off a little bit. I don't vape this thing on a high enough watts to really have to get that extra airflow on it, because that airflow, it doesn't increase your vapor production. It doesn't do anything than cool off the vape. If you're vaping this thing around 85, 90 volts, which you can, or not 90 volts, I mean 80 watts, excuse me. But if you are vaping around 85, 90 watts, you may want to open up those air holes to cool down that vape a little bit. But some people say, oh yeah, it's got a whole shit tons of airflow in it. Make huge clouds. This right here does not increase your clouds any. The only thing that will increase the clouds is the airflow coming across the coils. This airflow does not increase the airflow around the coils. It just simply cools off the vape that's coming through this big, huge drip tip. Honestly, my only con with it, or actually there's 2 cons, but one of them's not that big of a deal. The one con I do not like is indeed this big, huge drip tip. As you can see in the top of it here, it's pretty friggin' big. But the only drip tip that will fit on it is the drip tip that it comes with. This monster. You can see me looking through it probably. Ooh, hey there, yay! It's a pretty damn big one. But the only thing that will fit on this is this drip tip. Unless you want to completely do away with this airflow control on the top, you can indeed put the Aspire version 1 5mm extender on this and keep this same base and use these same coils, because these coils will work on the V1 or the V2, the 0.3 coils, the 0.5 coils, the nickel coils, whichever. But you can keep this same dual Cyclops base and have some good airflow in it, but put that extender, that 5mm extender on it. This thing right here, I've got a 0.3 coil in it, and I will tell you, I've had this same 0.3 coil in it since the day I got this thing, and I've had it over a month, and it still tastes fantastic. The flavor is great. The clouds are great, like I showed you just a second ago, and hell, let's take another vape on it. Let's go on bumper up to say 70 watts. Let's hit 75 watts. Vapor's starting to get really, really warm. Let's take her up to 80 watts. $85 watts. Let's do 90 watts. Yep, let's even go to 95. Like I said before, holy friggin' freight trains, Batman. Lots and lots and lots of clouds. If you're looking for a Subohm tank to blow clouds with, this is definitely one to get. And the price point, you can't beat it. Hell, nowadays I think you can find them online for around $20, $25. Unlike $40, $42 when they first came out. Of course, most of your brick and mortars will still charge you about 40 bucks or so, but they're worth it. But here in a minute, we'll take a little look at it. I'll take it apart and show you an up-close view of it and see what we think about it. All right, let's take an up-close look at this thing here. As I mentioned before in the other video, see that big Cyclops here, big Cyclops there. That is adjustable. You know, you can close that off to half or just adjust it down to the next area. See, that one's a little bit smaller. You got a little dot on that side. And it's wide open, wide open. That's your only two settings. So basically what I suggest is leave it on the wide open one. If you like to adjust the airflow to where you get more flavor. So my personal preference is about right there. I like that closed off. And you can see the coil inside there. Forgive the moisture and stuff in there. I cleaned this thing off a little bit. I emptied it out so give a better up close video. You can see on there, you can see the little round part where the open wick material is, so you can get straight wicking juice. It has a little bit of airflow control on it, or not airflow, but juice flow control on it, but nothing like the Delta 2. The Delta 2 is the only one out there that has an indeed true juice flow control. These ones claim to have juice flow control, but as you can see, the little shield that goes around the coil, there's a gap between that shield and the coil. So even if you do something like what I usually say to that, I usually do it just like that, to where none of them are exposed, and it wicks just, in my opinion, it wicks perfect. Even with 100 VG juice, it wicks just perfect. Doesn't overwick, doesn't underwick. So let's take a quick look at those airflow in the mouthpiece up there, right below the dip, or the drip tip, excuse me, not dip switch. That's using your dipstick. You can close those off, open them up a little bit, however you want it. But like I said, the only thing that really does is control the temperature, how hot your vape is. If you like a nice hot vape, closing thing off and hit this son of a gun at about 100 watts. See, there's that big drip tip. Look at the size of that thing. That thing is huge. Oh, let me show you down inside of there. See your top airflows, airflow holes, not airflows. Getting tongue tied here on you. But anyway, that's it assembled. Here, let's pull this thing apart real quick. It comes apart just like the rest of them. Pretty good looking tank. Like I said, the capacity here, last time I measured it out, I actually got 3.7 milliliters out of it. And does it last very long? No, it does not last very long. Here's your coil. Same coils pretty much as the V2 or as the V1, except for you notice the juice flow holes are quite a bit larger than what they are in the original one. Nice big airflow at the bottom. 4 holes instead of 2 like the old. Still got the vertical coil in it. It's kind of gooky inside of there. See, that doesn't look too bad. That's a month-old 0.3 coil in it, and it still looks pretty friggin' good there. and it still vapes like it did brand new. But the threads are real nice. The construction of it's real nice. I've dropped it a couple times. It hasn't coming apart. I know sometimes you've dropped that version 1 and this separates. This still will, these things will come apart, but they are just press fitted back together. You can get you 2 pair of pliers and squeeze on both sides and squeeze it back together. It happens if you happen to drop it and it kind of comes apart if you notice your airflow control becomes really loose. But here I'm gonna put some juice in this bad boy. This is my little M&H, my milk and honey. It fills up nice and easy. But this is a pretty good tank, man. Really, really good tank. I mean, you don't hear anything. Nice buttery smooth threads. I tighten it up and see, you can see the wicks showing up in there. I close it back off. You can see it already starting to bubble up some. You've already heard me say it once. I'll say it again. Good tank. Get one. You won't be unhappy with it. Welcome back up top here. I was going to close this off real quick after we've taken that little sneak peek at this thing. As we discussed before, I do like it. It is pretty freaking good. It's up there in my top 3 Subohm tanks. My favorite one, the Delta 2. The next, Heracles. This one, the Aspire version 2. I guess the Heracles and this Aspire version 2 are probably dead even equals. This one has a little bit more clouds than the Heracles does, but the Heracles got a little more flavor than this one does. So they're both about the same. Both of them are absolute juice whores, especially with this 0.3 coal in it. It will soak up your juice, and like I said in a little up close, it's only a 3.5. Maybe when I measured it correctly, mine measured out to 3.7 mils of juice. It don't last very long, but it is a good tank. And rocking this milk and honey I got in here. Here, let me tell you. Excuse me. What we are rocking on it is Uncle Alt's Elixirs milk and honey. I was privileged enough to get to become part of his group about a year ago. He doesn't really do retail anymore, only does wholesale, except for the few of us. There's like 500 or 600 of us that are in the group that he does do retail for. Great juice, ridiculous pricing, and his juice is equivalent to any premium brand that you'd spend $35 for a 20 ml bottle. This 120 ml bottle, once I tell you how much I paid for it, you'll be like, holy crap, that thing cost me $14. Yes, I said that correctly. $14 for a 120 ml bottle. If you look him up, you may not be able to. He may not be able to get in the group. If you can't and you're interested in some of his juices, I may be able to hook you up a little bit. May have to make $1 or $2 off of it, but still ridiculous pricing. But anyway, thank you for stopping by and checking out this V2 with us. Hope you like it. If you want to get one, I highly suggest going out and get one. You can't go wrong with it. Anyway, Gary, Southern Boys Vapes, Rednecks Vape 2.